I am super excited that you are here. And you guys, I'm going to tell you a story, and it is my story. How this company was started, and I always talk about this is God's company. God created Life Train. He just asked Brenda and I if we were ready to shepherd it. That's what we decided to do. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how this happened. So I grew up in Chicago, lived there, all my formative years, had a bad experience with religion. I was in the neighborhood with Jesse Jackson, and there were just a couple of things that happened that I thought, oh man, this religion is preying on the poor, taking advantage of people. It's not for me. I've got this. I was very lucky. My parents, my grandparents always, confidence into me, and so I always kind of knew that I was gonna succeed. I was gonna be all right. So I went to college, went to work for the Quaker Oats Company, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I had no clue when I think back. I just knew I was gonna do well, but I didn't know why. And looking back, oh my goodness, I was so naive. I really did have no idea. Literally, the way I ended up in Cedar Rapids was after going through a series of 8 to 10 interviews all in one day downtown Chicago at Quaker headquarters. They said, we want to offer you a job, either Cedar Rapids, Iowa, or St. Joe, Missouri. I knew nothing about either place, so I said, which town is bigger? They said Cedar Rapids. I'm like, all right, I want to go there. $1,700 a month. And you guys, I thought that was more money than anybody could ever imagine. I mean, I could literally go to the store and buy a pair of jeans. Blew me away. And I remember Joyce Van Duzen was the lady that offered me the job, and I hesitated when she said $1,770. And she said, oh, is there something wrong? I'm like, no, it's good. I love it. So that was my start. Over the next 20 plus years, I moved 10 different places in 20 years. Made a lot of money, rose up the corporate ladder, if you will. But what happened to me is that as I got closer to the top, I didn't like what I saw in terms of the ethics, the politics, those sorts of things. On the outside, everything looked great. House paid off, cars paid off, beautiful house, son, wife, everything looked good from the outside, but the inside I was dying. Working 80 hours a week, get up still at 4 in the morning, go for my run around Lake Zorinsky here in town, shower, go to the plant by 5:30, stay there till, 6:30, whatever it was. Come home, have dinner, go down to the man cave, have a drink, fall asleep, stumble upstairs and do it all again. And this was just every day, and sometimes including Saturdays, a lot of times including Saturdays. So I was just lost. So basically I self-sabotaged my job. I called out my boss and my boss's boss, and of course that didn't go well for me. But at least I got a severance and I got some outplacements. I was able to really take some time and think about what I wanted to do, and I always thought, well, man, I want to own my own business, be my own boss. So there are 3 criteria, right? I don't want to have a boss. I want residual income or passive income, and I want to be doing something celebratory. I want to grow, right? Because I had been stagnant for so many years. So opened up Wine Styles wine shop here in town. We opened it up December 15th, 2005 at 4 o'clock. I was my own boss. I mean, all these things were happening. I felt the weight lift off of me from the corporate world. I could not even imagine how much weight was on me until it was lifted off. And I had a tendency to, in my life, stick around too long in bad situations. Ended up about 7-8 years owning the wine shop, divorced. I self-sabotaged a 6-year relationship. And it all culminated with me mowing my yard over on Poppleton, listening to Blake Shelton's Austin. If you know Blake Shelton, that's the song. And all of a sudden, I just find myself on the ground, balled up like a little baby, crying uncontrollably. I had finally broken. I got to the point where I just can't do this. Again, from the outside, everything was fine. The inside, I was hollow. And literally, it's either the next day or the day after, a friend held up 2 hands and said, there's God and there's religion. Boom. That's it. That simple line is exactly what I needed. All right? So I had a friend, Peggy Beers, who since passed, my best friend in the world. She was awesome. She said, come to Relevant Community Church, come to Relevant. I'm like, okay. So I went there. And she was there, welcoming me with a big old hug, introduced me to all these people, and they all gave me hugs. I'm like, this is where I need to be. Fast forward, that journey that I began, about 5 years ago, has been life-changing. life transformational, so you know where this is going. So my life has been transformed, but the big moment literally came, and there's another backstory to this. I'm not going to go into that necessarily today, but you can imagine a guy that had lived his life doing what I thought was the American dream. You know, you go up the corporate, you go to school, you get a good job, you work hard, you move up, you get money, and that's happiness. I was not happy. I learned that American dream, making $1 million net worth, that's what I had, but believe me, it did not bring me happiness. And we're all on different journeys. I understand that. All I can do is share my journey and share the reality for me. And if this touches you a little bit, if you can relate to any of this story, then listen on, right? And I would encourage you to explore what we're offering here. Well, and I'll get to that at the end, kind of what we're all about. But so I told you I owned a wine store, and I got into this real growth mode. I got into a couple of other businesses, and I was growing, but I was still missing something, right? So the story I always tell is this guy, one of my good customers, came in and we're talking one day, and he goes, "Bob, I'm just kind of struggling," and I'm like, "Dude, you need to read this book." So I recommended a book for him to read. So he comes back in the store about a month and a half later, and he just comes in with this look on his face, and he goes, "I need to shake your hand." I'm like, "What's up, dude?" Whoa. And he goes, "That book you had me read?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Changed my life. I've never been happier." And every time I tell that story, I always get that chill, right? And the interesting thing is John Maxwell, I love the dude. He is legit. Okay, John C. Maxwell. I think he's 74 right now. First time I ever heard him speak, he said, "Hi, I'm John Maxwell. I'm 70 years old. I've written over 100 books, all grossed well over $1 million." And he leans forward, he goes, "I don't need to be here. The only reason I'm here is I want to help you get the most out of this awesome life that God created you for." How cool is that? Anyway, he said, and I'm part of the John Maxwell team, and I'm certified and all of that stuff, John Maxwell. I'm one of the legs to his legacy, as he likes to say. But he said, once you've tasted significance, success won't matter, right? So now go back to that story where that customer said, "Changed my life." And that was significance. That meant more to me than if he would have come in the store and spent $3,000 on wine. And that's where that was the big aha moment that I knew. That was kind of the genesis of me taking Life Transformed and making it into something. So that's what I am doing. I am moving towards Life Transformed. I don't spend much time, if any, at the wine shop anymore. And, God will handle that whole transition. But Life Transformed, you guys. It is literally what we do is here's the problem. Here's the problem that I had, maybe you have, but what I believe everybody has, and they don't even know that they have it. The problem is isolation. We are more connected than we are at any point in time with our phones, and I'm recording this on my phone, right? We're connected. We're surrounded by people all the time. When I was in the corporate world, I was hundreds of people every day, but I was really isolated. I was really alone. If there was a problem at home, who dealt with it? I did. I didn't have a community of people that I knew were for me, that didn't judge me, and that were harmonious with me, right? They had a heart for me. I didn't have that. Who do I turn to? I mean, my goodness, I didn't even know my neighbors that well. That's on me. I understand that, but I was isolated. So I challenge everybody, take a look. Are you isolated? And if you're not, hey, that's awesome, right? Because the other thing that I've learned is that's how Satan works, right? If you are alone and he starts working on your head, But the thing that Satan can't penetrate, two people or more thinking together. All right? It's true. He cannot do that. He can't penetrate that. So Life Transformed is about getting people from isolation into community, right? And we do that through workshops. We do that through group coaching. We do that through one-on-one coaching. We do that through masterminds, which are just amazing. And we do the real, original Napoleon Hill style masterminds. You're going to start hearing a lot about masterminds. We'll do all kinds of them. So anyway, that's what we're all about. And you guys, here's the really cool thing about what we're doing. We want to get everybody into community. We want to create a community of people that if you're traveling to a city that you've never been, right, you can call somebody who is in Life Transformed. They've been a part of our tribe, right? And you could say, hey, I'm so-and-so and I'm in Life Transformed. You know, we've done workshops with them, or I've been coached by Bob or Brenda or Michelle or Rob or whoever. And they'll say, oh man, are you guys coming into town? Come on over to the house. We'll have you for dinner. We'll show you around, right? Because these people are for you. They don't judge you. They believe in you. They're harmonious with you, right? Because that's what God created us for, abundance and love, right? So you're going to see, once you go into the website, we've got 5 major areas that we believe, 5 purpose areas in everybody's life. There's spiritual, there's physical body, there's personal growth, right? There's love relationships, and then finally there are your gifts, your time and your finances, right? So we can help you discover your purpose in each of those areas. And if you know what, if I were to talk to you, and I always do that, I always want to sit down and talk to the people. This isn't something where we accept everybody. It isn't for everybody. And I want to make sure, and Brenda coined the term, I want to make sure you're a seeker. If you're seeking more, then this is the place for you. If you're not seeking more, everything's good. You think about those 5 areas as I went through it, and you're like, no, we're good. I'm good. That's okay. You can move along, right? You don't have to even click in to see, what it is we're all about. But if maybe in one of those areas, and we've got a process to identify, kind of an assessment that you can take to understand where you're at in those areas. If one of those areas you're like, hey, like me, in my story, if you guys remember me, everything else looked pretty good. My spiritual was just like, boom, if you imagine a hub of a wheel, and like if I rate myself a 10 in finances and an 8 here, and my spiritual was like 0. It was like 0. So my tire would go boom, boom. It wouldn't roll, right? So I knew I had to fix that. So that's what we're all about is again, getting people out of isolation and into community. And what I'm super excited about is once you're in community and you're in that kind of environment, people are breathing into you and speaking into you and supporting you and encouraging you and not judging you. Oh my goodness, you start surrounding yourself with those kinds of people, you get your spiritual, your body, your personal growth, boom, you're growing, your relationships, prospering, your gifts, your financial and your time, your ability to give back, all of that stuff, right? If you get that all rolling, you're going to be living God's purpose for you, right? You will know your identity when we're done. And that, you guys, what I just described there, so imagine isolation, some of you may be there now, to community, right? The next step beyond community is freedom, right? Freedom to live out your true purpose in this world. Freedom to be who God created you to be. Freedom to speak your story and share your story, no matter how jacked up it is, right? Because the more genuine and raw you can be sharing your story, guess what? The more people you're going to touch. Because there are lots of people out there who are in isolation and they want to hear your story so they can transform their lives. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. If you've listened this far, check out the website. We'll have all kinds of opportunities for you to engage with us. Obviously, if you're here and you haven't, click on the link below. I've got a teaching series that I'll give you for giving us your email list. So thank you so much, and we look forward to helping you, right? Helping you get to the life that really God created you for. Take care.